Today, on the COVID coping skills, we're going to talk about what it means to be in yoga 24 hours a day. That way, you can do your job better, you can keep your mind relaxed, and also you can sleep better. And down the line, you will be going deeper into your interior and find out more about consciousness. Okay, so what does it mean to be in yoga 24 hours is yoga in the real sense is uniting with the universal, the Atma or the soul or whatever the interior being we have, that is uniting with the universal soul. Okay, so in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Yogastha Kuru Karmani. That means first be in this union and then do yoga. So whatever you do will become yoga in that sense. Okay, so what happens is, because you are uniting with the universal self, which is in everybody, you are honoring them whenever you do namaste, or when you are relating with them also on an equal foot. No gender, no nationality, no religion, no social standing, no literary achievement, none of it. So you are in union with everybody. Samatvam yoga uchyate. That's another thing they said. So you have equanimity with everybody. Then your relationship with your family, with your friends, with your colleagues, with your fellow citizens, or the citizens of the world, everything will be in union. So that's the second part of it. Then when you go on the job, you're going to work because you are representing the entity within for which you are working. So you work with the idea that I am not the agent who is working. I am being used as an instrument by the divine for the work. So whatever the work you do becomes like a puja, worship. Okay, so you work as though it is worship. And then when you exercise, your body is the temple for the divine. So whatever exercise you do and however you keep the body clean and vital and energetic, that's all used for the purpose of finding the divine within. Okay, so in this way, you can work, you can relate to people, and you can keep your body, mind healthy, and you can sleep also better, because most of the day you are without any agitation, without any competition, or without any ill will to anybody else. So all those negative things will be washed out from your mind. So that way you feel like I am more into the pursuit of the what is divinity in me, rather than just pursuing some superficial desires of my mind. Okay, so 24-hour yoga doesn't mean you are in a posture all the time, but the posture here becomes you are sitting in that concept, or not even a concept, reality, that the divinity is within you and you are focused on that. Okay, this is very good for your sleep also, because at the night time, before you go to sleep, if you can keep all your thoughts kind of sedated, kind of quietened, and then your focus of awareness is on that divine self, then your mind also will sleep much better. And when you get out of the bed in the morning, you do the same thing again. In that way, you are kind of doing both sleeping very well, but also replenishing all your energies. Okay, so let's take the day how it starts, and then we'll go briefly. Anybody who wants to have a question on that, we can answer that. You get up in the morning, you will see, are you really worried? Are you really agitated about the work that you have to do, right? So then you don't want to go into that kind of thought pattern right in the morning. You can start with your yoga practice and be present and aware in your practice. Breathe and align yourself and think that you are readying the temple for the God within. Then you do yoga much better because you are focused, and you are also uh, being more aware of all the problems that your body has. Because you are not in the mind mode, you can address the tension and all that better because you are more aware in the moment and you're breathing into your tension, right? Then you do the yoga practice much better, and at the same time you kept your presence, and you can carry that presence all through the day. Then you get ready for the work and you go and approach work like a worship, so that you don't have any of the political, gossipy, or negative. All those things are washed up when you are working. So you work with your hands, but your mind is mostly silent. That is being in the flow. So you have very good results from your work output. You will get a lot of things. Then you come out and you feel good about your productivity. Okay, then you come home and then you can relax, and also you can go to bed with less problems. Okay, then as you're sleeping, before you sleep, what you do is first you concentrate all the disparate thoughts. Okay, then you kind of be aware of your inner energy, and then focus your awareness on that. Then that results in real Shakti. you know um, so it's called self-abidance. Self means it's not an individual self, it is the universal self, that Brahman that is within us. You focus on that. Then in the morning when you get up, you don't have any thoughts through the day or through the night. Then you get up in the morning very fresh and refreshed. So it takes a long time before you come to that stage. But this concept of just making the body ready for work and doing the exercise just to keep healthy, and then you go to the office and then you have all sorts of negative thinking going on around you, and then you absorb that, then you waste a lot of energy, and then your work is suffering, and then you come home all agitated and you sleep like that, or you take a wine or any of the escapes, then they are not going to help you. Okay, so a real yogi is the one who has an asana. That asana is being aware and stationing in that Atma. That is the only posture. And then you are supposed to meditate on the divine within, and then eventually realize. That is the purpose of the entire yoga. Okay, make the body strong enough to sit and meditate on the divine within, and then finally realize. Okay, that is what I wanted to tell. And then let's take two very common things that we are dealing with nowadays. First one is there are a lot of rains in India, right? The second one is we all do every day waking, dreaming, sleeping, and then the fourth stage, which is called Turiya. Okay, so let's take the rains first. The rains come from the clouds, right? Let's see how the clouds are formed. First of all, let's take sea. From the sea, all the absorption of the moisture go into the clouds and the cloud form. When the clouds are restless and heavy, they pour down and they come to the earth and they form the rivers, and the rivers also flow down to the sea again. So here the sea is that Paramatma or Brahman, from which all the water has gone up and formed the clouds, which are the mind, all the thoughts. When it's heavy with the thoughts and worries and anxieties, it pours down. And then it won't be quiet because it's restless with all that weight until it pours down, right? Like that, these rivers also can be still. They want to go back and join the source, which is the sea. So human life is also like that, okay? So if you can keep that simile or, kind of example in mind, it's easier to understand the whole movement. So you have to understand where we came from and how we have become this restless soul, and how we can have the peace and happiness that is within us. The second thing is, we have 4 stages every day we experience. We wake up, that is Jagrata, and then when we want to go to sleep, first we will dream for a while, that is Swapna, and then deep sleep, Sushupti, and then the 4th stage is Turiya. In wake-up stage, we have the I thought, we have awareness, ego, all that functioning, right? So we are completely awake. And then that continues, the mind continues in the Swapna state where the body is kind of limp. Then that mind also goes limp in the deep sleep, right? But all through these 3 stages, we are aware, that awareness within us, something is surviving. And then when we wake up in the morning, without that, we won't wake up. So during the deep sleep also, this awareness or consciousness of ours is there. So you have to be aware of that. You can have that kind of awareness during the day while you are working, while doing everything, provided you know you are that awareness, consciousness behind all three stages. Because that is the one which goes through the awakening, dreaming, and deep sleep. Without that, we won't be waking up, okay? So it's always there, but it is hidden for us by our ego, by our illusion of ego. So you have to figure out that and see that ego has its role. Beyond that, it doesn't dominate your life. So spiritual practice is figuring this out and knowing our real self and going there. Okay, these 2 examples are very important to remember. Then you will be functioning in deep awareness. Like Ramana Maharshi said, suppose you are working something and you have a task. The task is not the problem, but it is the interfering thoughts, other things you are thinking about, make you not able to concentrate on the task. So you have to be aware, not thinking all the time. You can think for a goal, but then you have to forget about that and concentrate on each step as you go towards the goal. Don't be goal conscious. Be conscious of the work you're doing. So pay attention to every action. So if you do like this, then the work will be done without the burden of thinking all the time and tiring the mind out. Okay? So those are the 2 examples I wanted to present here today. And beyond that, I don't think we have to talk much about it, so if I have any questions, we can talk about that, So let's see. Let's see. We'll ask. Hello, Kavya. No, she has. Hi.
Hello, sir.
How are you, Kavya?
I'm very, very fine.
You're a yoga therapist, right?
Yes, sir. And whatever you taught, the session, it's really true. It's really correct. And this is what yoga is.
Yeah.
right?
Good.
The application on real life. It's not just asanas, moving your hands or legs or being more
Actually,
flexible.
yeah. Asanas go better when you are aware.
Yes, that is the true meaning of yoga. You are creating the mindfulness. You're making yourself more strong. The point you taught that it is to sit for longer time in the meditation. That's
Yes.
why we are doing asanas to make your body strong enough so that you can calmly sit without having sensations, pain, or any kind of problem in your physical body. That's the real
Sirasukam,
purpose of asana.
yeah. Sirasukam asana.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Yes.
all he said Patanjali. Do you read Patanjali book?
Yes, sir.
Patanjali, okay. In that he says yoga chitta vritti nirodha.
Vrati nirodha.
But then after next one he says tada swarupe drashta. He is the
Yes.
witness. That's what we are talking about here. You can only see the witness only when your mind is still. You know, to get the mind
Right.
still, you have to meditate. You have to meditate, you got to sit down and focus on that. You know, so how do you get these people to meditate for longer time? Do they meditate at all with you, your students?
Yes, but they are not able to because most of the students are having knee problem or arthritis, Parkinson problem. So I cannot make them sit for longer time. So I just make them move slowly with uh, very slow down speed and just choosing the asanas and meditation practices which are going to help them to cope up with the physical body, not making it more spiritual because they are not able to concentrate. We need a fit body for that.
You
It
got to
will
go
not
by the student
easy thing.
level. Yeah, you cannot say everybody has to be at this level. It's only, you know, you have to
Yeah.
take them at the level they are and then direct them. You know, more than directing them, it is what we work on ourselves that comes
Right.
through for them. Okay, if I don't have this understanding within me, I cannot give it to them. And also,
Right.
I cannot be
Definitely.
forceful on them unless they are ready for it. They don't want to take it. You know, it's like
Yes.
feeding a baby a big vegetable when he can only drink milk. You know, but
Yeah,
do
it is
you?
not something that should be forced. It's
Yes.
something coming from within.
Yeah. Do you use the levels of asana with each asana?
Yes, I use. I teach beginners, but very few, and mostly advanced yoga poses. Like people who want to become a yoga teacher, so I just train them for that. Like, and I always encourage what really yoga is. I do not focus on the things like hot yoga or power yoga or too much of things like just being flexible or bending your body too much. I don't focus on that, even though I teach it, but the aspect is different.
Yeah.
Why we are doing it, always teach them. This is the reason why we are doing. And there are some limitations of your body, my body. We cannot be saying, you cannot copy anyone. So just making it so much clear and going in the right path, not creating any deviation.
What I want to talk about is each asana, Kavya. Again, they have base,
Yeah.
stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, like, you know. So
Hmm.
when I deal with all these older people or feeble people or
Mm-hmm.
people, or even in my case, when I had that paralysis on the left side, what I used was the
Mm-hmm.
Sukshma Yoga.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I know you know that is it, what it is
Yes, yes.
you kind of start with the tolerance of the person and then make them
Mm-hmm.
do even a small movement.
Right.
Like for example,
Mm-hmm.
when I talking to one of my sisters, she was not able to get up the steps because she was developing some shortness of breath. I didn't want her to sit down. I said, try a couple of steps
Mm-hmm.
at a time. So you have to go to the lowest level and then bring them along. See, most
Right.
of the people are very impatient. They want to do the highest first. Okay,
Yes.
most advanced. You cannot do that, you know. So that is the beauty about yoga is you can fit any lifestyle, any activity, any age, any gender, at any stage of life. You know,
Mm.
BK Sayenga, you must know.
Yes, I know.
He
Yeah.
died 2 days before he died. He was doing yoga,
Mm-hmm.
advanced yoga too. So body has its own memory and that has to be cultivated a little bit, you know. So I always start with the base and then let them do the base, then body picks it up, it enhances that stretch. So
Right.
it has to be trained like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mind has to be trained too. People don't realize that. They think, oh, I can just keep quiet by this or no. You are accelerating the mind in so many ways, and then you want it to be quiet on its own, it won't do it.
Right.
So
It's all in our head. Like
how do you start your practice, Kavya? What is that you do with your students?
I started like I started without knowing it. Like I'm doing yoga. I was very young. There was a book in my house. I was just trying few things with that. That was my journey. Like it was the initial point. I was not aware what I'm doing. Then after I make my graduation in physics honors, I just realized that I need more calmness in my life. This is not something I want or crave for, like so many things.
Yeah.
After the physics honors, I was supposed to go for masters in physics. Then I went to yoga, and I felt the real beauty of life. Like that was the point where I said to my parents, "No, this is something where I want to stick. This is how I want to spend my life." And I just decided it completely. Like not even nothing was able to disturb me at all. Like my parents was saying, "No, don't do this." Everybody was saying in my house, but I was so much in love with yoga. Like I am able to get anything and everything in my life with this beautiful way of living. It's not restricting me to do anything. It's just enhancing me. Like
Yes.
I'm able to help people. So whatever I want. It's just like cherry on the cake.
Actually, if you look at the modern way of lives that evolved, are really weakening us, are really making us very uncomfortable in our mind, our relations, and everything, and also makes
Right.
us very weak in so many ways. You're right,
Mhm.
once you love yoga, you make it a form of life. You see, even for me, I was always into the yoga, right? But then after I came to this country, it has taken its back seat. And that's when I had the health problems, right? And so when I
Mhm.
came back, I'm a physician. I use the modern things also. I went to the hospital, took the drugs and all that at the time. But at the same time, in the ICU itself, I started doing this Sukshma Yoga on the paralyzed leg and extremity. There was no movement, but I imagined, visualized there was movement and started to do that. So that
And
kind
now
of,
you are able to move it.
yeah, that's what it is. There was no movement at all. It is mechanically gone. But I
Wow.
knew about what is called plasticity, brain plasticity, where
Mhm.
if you have a function lost on the periphery, by moving that, the brain areas will get activated, or at least
Mhm.
new neurons are formed around the dead ratio. Okay, knowing that, I knew the peripheral action would be due. I used to push my patients who had stroke to get into physical therapy on the first day itself. Either patient can do, or if he cannot do it, I used to make the relatives do the passive movements. Okay, like that.
Mhm.
I started no movement from my mind visualization, just start moving it. And then when it came, and they also used some neuro stimulator, that is also helped a lot. So I used both modern medicine and also the
Mhm.
yogic wisdom, right? And then
Mhm.
now I know, do you know the body is a projection of the mind now?
Yeah.
See, most of them think I am the gross body and I have mind and soul within. But actually, the consciousness is the one which has the body in it.
Right.
So if you can somehow overcome that limitations by your ego saying that you are paralyzed, you cannot really move, then you are lost. So
Yes.
the motivation should come not from the mind, from the deeper self. And then what happens is your mind can be induced to have motivation to move the body. So I was generating this visualization from where? From the deeper self. And then I started to do that. Then it continued. The other thing what happens is when you have neurological damage, every day you get up in the morning, you'll have some weakness of that. If you don't do it, and if you say, I'm settled, the same thing with the older people too. Most of them, they say, you are old, you take it easy, you sit in the chair and all that. That's a mistake. You don't want them to run, but you can ask them to take 10 steps in the room. Without that, most of the nursing homes in the United States, most of these people, once they go in, they go deeper and deeper, weakness, and they develop all sorts of problems. For example, somebody has a asthma or a COPD lung problem, right? You encourage them to breathe, they breathe better. And also you have to make them having the good tone of their chest muscles, right? But these people don't let them get out of the bed or stay in the chair, then they lose the tone. You know, every day if you stay in the bed, you lose 1/3 of the tone. That's how yoga is going to help Kavya as you help these old people. Make them do at their physical level whatever they have, a little extra. Okay, don't have to push them, but give them that motivation. Then when they gain that strength, then they function on their own because they feel good. They want to start to good. I wrote what is called head to toe yoga. This is about in 5 minutes, and I will send the copy to you. It's very easy for you to pick it up probably. But you know, the idea is from toe to head, you kind of move all the joints, okay, with breathing, with alignment, and they feel limbered up. This can be used for very old people, very weak people, or very young people. You know, we can use them to limber up. But you can take the young people to much bigger asanas right away. But older people, you may not be able to do that. But for them, 2 or 3 times, if they're doing it, they feel so much better. I did that in the bedroom, my hospital clinic patient room, and the patient comes and says, she was 85-year-old, and then I made her sit down and do everything in the chair itself. She cannot get up and walk. She felt so better, she started doing it, and after a few months, she started to get up and walk. See, it is the other way around. It goes. If you don't let them walk or do the stuff or make them enjoy things, they go the other way. And this is started to happen even in young people also. That's why so much obesity. People are sitting down and playing the video games. The opposite what they are supposed to move their body and keep their mind still. But what they're doing, they're making the body sit down and then keep their mind active. Right?
Yeah, opposite.
Exactly. You know, that's why it's wonderful that you took up this yoga and you're doing it. So there is so much in yoga. Even though I read a lot, I went to a lot of depths, I still feel like I'm starting. A lot of people say, oh, you know so much about this and all that. But then if you really look into it, it's such a vast subject. But if you understand it also, you can get a lot of benefit out of it. Remember, they used to sit on the rocks. They didn't have any seats. And the rock sitting, what has a counter coup pressure. It stimulates your muscles, and then your back and stomach muscles, everything will have to be tightened to sit down. You don't have to do it voluntarily. They get tightened, right? And with that, they got more stronger, even though they were not moving. See, that's why they were able to do the and also the Surya Namaskaras. Wonderful form of, I promote it as the best aerobic exercise in the world. How many Surya Namaskaras can you do in every day?
I don't do it like this, but in college it was like sometime 108, mostly 108.
Yeah,
but now our practice is different.
Yeah. You don't have to.
Now, yeah,
There is a video I saw. It's called Advanced Yoga Namaskars.
yeah. Three
It is,
types of Surya Namaskar now.
I mean, the Surya Namaskars are,
ABC.
yeah, very, very simple, very good aerobic activity. And also, it has got so much for the stomach muscles. A lot of people have the flat stomach too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm talking about the rishis. What they did was they kind of worshipped the sun god because he is the giver of life, and they carried that within them. Do you know that they walked on the earth without any chappals, any shoes? Because
Yeah.
they have got this Surya's anugraha, whatever it is, and then they walked on a midsummer without any problem. I learned this from Ramana Maharshi. One of the guys,
Mm-hmm.
he went to visit him one time, and Ramana said, okay, let's go for a walk around the mountain. He used to do that every day. So Ramana never wore any shoes. In that hot
Mm-hmm.
Tamil Nadu sun, he walked without any shoes. So this other guy, he could not put one foot after other because he was so burned out, And he said, I cannot walk like this. No. He said, just use your focus on that, and then think of the sun god, and then you'll get it. And then sooner or later, he was able to walk without any pain. Then what happened was he learned that, and he was walking in Madras several years later without any shoes. His friend asked him, how can you walk in the sun? This hot, everything is so hot. How can you walk? Then he said this story. That's how I came to know about it. What I took from that is any sensation that we experience can be uh, kind of tamed. We can tame that sensation. Thirst, hunger, or
Mm-hmm.
any of those uncomfortable that we feel, we can tame them. Also, we can get them under our control. Not necessarily we have to do it, but it is there. So a
Yeah.
person comes with back pain. So I pay attention to their abdominal muscles and how their muscles on the back are, and then I train them to strengthen the abdominal muscles just by you're sitting like this, right? You put both the arms and the back, and then do that lumbar. Uh, no, it's a extension, lumbar extension, and then do the lumbar flexion. You know what I'm talking about, Kavya, and then
Yeah.
then you go to the front, and then I make them lie down a little bit and then raise both legs a little bit. Usually they cannot do that, but eventually they find it after 3 or 4 times they're trying, they are coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And then just you don't have to go complete nauka pose, but beginning of the legs going up a little bit. So that is the base,
Mm-hmm.
and then go from there. Even the people who have a flabby tummy, they can feel the internal muscles tighten a little bit. And then that tightens the back muscles. And then the pain goes a little bit. The Astasanchalan, that's also I make them do that for the back pain. And they feel the effects immediately. I mean, you don't have to do it like a intense way, but you can do it such a way that is comfortable for. See, the important thing is not to let them completely neglect it or not to push them too much.
Mm-hmm.
Take them from where they are to what can be achieved. But then
Right.
the time they take can be different. So it's all in the mind, really, how you project. So now I don't even use any medications because of these practices.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's there. So you can pick it up and go on. That's why I took interest in you youngsters. If I teach them, they can go and teach other people. And many people I have to motivate them. I have to tell them, do this, but you're already doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yeah, it's been so many years. Like, it's been 13 years since I'm
Okay,
doing, 6 years since I'm teaching.
that's
So
great.
it is everyday thing. It's just in my vein now. Like I live like that. I thought like that. Think like that.
You
It's
just do
good.
this for living also, yoga?
Yes, I do it as my profession also, and not only profession, I live with it.
Okay.
Like it is now my habit. It feels
Exactly.
good.
You live with it because your life is yoga, you know. The more
Yeah.
you realize that, the more, and then you are not really working. You are just enjoying yourself.
Yes, it is so much. Like I see people around me being stressed about the work, society, people. But when you come to yoga, like they are looking at me, they ask me, "Why are you so happy? How is this possible? No stress, nothing." I say
You
just
can
because
make
of
it from
yoga,
the
because
smile. That's really true. You know, it comes from your inner being. You know, that's another thing too. The happiness is not outside; it is inside. We'll talk about it later because such a big subject that one also. And
yeah, definitely.
that is evident when you are in tune with what you are doing, what you are feeling, and what, as a profession, all that are really combined, then you are in synchrony of your mind and body and the soul, then that comes out very much. You are very fortunate, Kavya, to be like that.
Yes, I also feel sometimes like maybe in past life I was on
No,
my
that's true.
journey.
That is true. The samskaras,
Yeah.
samskaras that we have, they have to be worked at. Otherwise, it will be next time we will carry them on. So,
Right. My
some
teachers
of,
taught me in Patanjali also we learned this thing like
yes,
sanskar and all from the past lives.
yeah,
I believe in that maybe.
yeah. So feel free, communicate with me, and then we can have a, talk about these kind of things. I do this every Saturday. Today, a couple of people could not come. I don't know why, because they're outside or something. But some people rely on the recording too. So I send them. One of my friends, he joined us, he left because he had to go and bring his wife from airport or something. Uh, anyway, nice meeting you. Okay.
Same here. Same here. It's really a privilege to talk with elderly wise people. Like it's
Yeah.
never wasting time. It's like gaining something because everybody has different experience and wisdom, and we just plus in our
Yeah.
feels good.
See,
And next time we can decide some topic, specific topic, whichever you want to, and then we can have little
let us
talk
talk
on that
about this inner
also.
happiness next time, okay? Next
Sure.
Saturday, we will talk about this.
Yeah.
And you can think about it, gather your questions and whatever. And then,
Mm.
because you will realize it faster because you're already in that mode. So once you realize that, you can help a lot of people because this epidemic is giving a lot of stress to people and
Right.
they are not able to touch their own inner being and they are being
Mm-hmm.
swayed by all the stress around them. So we talked
Mm-hmm.
about this. There is a
Yeah.
poem we talked about, it is a Purnamidam Purnamadam. Do you know that?
Purnat
Uh,
Purnamudachyate
that is the
Mudachyate.
one.
I
That's
know
the
this.
one at the first talk, I think we talked about that. So that if you can, that is why they were able to sit in one place and be very happy because they didn't have to go for things outside. And
Yeah.
this happiness, once is released, is unallied happiness. So that is something people have to do as a practice, turning inward instead of turning outward, turning
Yes.
inward, and then find out things that are treasures that are there. You know, and I complain about Indians because there was so much wisdom, they let it go, and some of these
So true.
yeah, invasions did not help, but then they were sticking to some basic rituals and all that, which even Vedas put it aside. And then they wrote the Upanishads because of the wisdom. And most of the Upanishad wisdom is the one that we need to follow because the science of consciousness movement in the United States and all over the world, the scientists also, they are looking at not before Christ, after Christ. It is about before Upanishads, after Upanishads. But most of the people don't even know what is Upanishad mean. What do they tell? What are the things and all that. Other thing is, just by reading them, you won't get this. They will tell you, go self-realize. Just by telling a posture doesn't have any meaning. Unless you do the posture and then your body experiences it, it won't. Like that, this is not just a bookish knowledge, this is experiential knowledge. That means you have to experience yourself and realize yourself. Like you said, maybe in the older lives, we have more samskaras are shredded. That's why you are more receptive to it. People are, some of them are more than us, some of them less than us, but it doesn't mean they are all not equal. They are all equal. Only thing is they have to work it out. This is called prarabdha karma. You have to work that out. Some are beyond you, some are on your control. They will have to be worked out. So let us talk about what is meant by happiness within next week. Okay? And then you can think about it and form your own questions. Then we'll have a discourse rather than one-way teaching. Okay? And everybody else also can participate too.
Yes. Okay.
All right, then we will talk next week. Okay?
Sure. Thank you so much for your precious time and having conversation and sharing your knowledge.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste. Okay.
Namaste, Rohini, ma'am. You are muted. Mute.
My wife and daughter also here too,
She's your wife?
No. That's my sister. My wife.
Okay, sorry.
Kavya, how are you?
Hi, I'm very, very good. How are you?
Come on. Okay. My daughter is also sitting there, but she's in pajamas. That's why she didn't want to come.
Okay.
Okay, Kavya.
Stay safe there.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. Bye, everyone. Have a nice day or night. Maybe morning time there, right?
Yeah.
Bye. See you on next week with some good topic.
Yeah, okay.
Namaste.
Bye. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, seems to be recording.